Okay. YouTube says we're live. We'll have to take their word for it. Let's do something right quick here. Let's get this up and see if we can put it in the background. There we go. Yep. All right. See how the camera's going to work. Looks pretty good. We'll leave it alone for the moment. Open that up. And there we go. Let's see if this. Ooh, a little blurry. Leave it about right there. Maybe it'll stay up. All right. There's Neil. There's Mr. Intense. How you all fellas doing today? We finally got out of our monsoon season out here. We're back to summertime. I just looked. It's 102 outside at the moment. Plenty of sunshine, no clouds. The only difference between monsoon season and summer is there's clouds. But I did get to work out in the garage about 4 hours this morning. And it got a little bit hot. So it's time to come in the house. You know, what can I say? Hey, Adrian, how you doing, buddy? Well, we're still waiting on the slow boat from China to get any product. It's in the twilight zone at the moment. It's amazing when you get stuff shipped over here. You know, it says your deal will say, well, my stuff anyhow, but that way. You know, it shows as China Post, and then when it switches to USPS, United States Postal Service, well, 90% of the time, once it switches to them, I don't get an update. From then on, you can ask it where the hell it's at. No, they don't give you nothing. And then all of a sudden, it'll just show up at the post office. So, yeah, it's messed up. It's been messed up since COVID, and doesn't look like it's going to ever get any better. Because you about got to kill somebody to get fired from the post office, or do something that pisses off a Democrat. I'll put it that way. Otherwise, you can do a shitty ass job forever, and it doesn't really matter. Unless somebody is out to get you or something. Well, there's Josh. How you doing, Josh? So we're getting quite a few people today. That's nice. Always nice for that. Oh, well, I'll tell you what. Now, has anybody seen? I think Todd's the only one on my deal that does it. Has done it. The new 22 millimeter Squape Arise, and it's like this one, except it's 22 instead of 24. And it's supposed to be geared more, I think, toward mouth to line. I don't know. Maybe it's a little better. I mean, this one, hell, you got to put a hellacious Clapton in it to get any flavor out of it. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to pull the trigger on that one or not. Yeah, Neil, the hell of it is my stuff lands in LA and it's only a 3-hour drive from there to here. It's like, and it takes 5 days. Yeah, you got to love them. You got to love them. It's you got to love them. And all our mail, because we're over here I get my mail in Kingman, Arizona. And every bit of our mail has to pass through a depot in Las Vegas. Oh, that's where they check it for anthrax. Ooh. So it doesn't matter. you can mail a letter to your neighbor, and he's got to go to Vegas and come back, and it's come on, give me a break, give me a break. Just a little bit of overkill, you know. But yeah, all our shit has to go all the way to Vegas and get checked for anthrax, and then it gets back to us or comes to us. Yeah, it's a mess. It is a mess. The land of the free. Depends on which state you live in there, Mr. Intense. Depends on which state. About half of them ain't free no more. I swear to God, you cross some state lines, you think you done went down to like the fucking Dominican Republic or somewhere, some little third world country. It's a mess. I ain't embarrassed to say it. It's a mess. Oh yeah, I remember. You're from the UK. Hell, at the moment, y'all probably got more freedoms than some of the blue states got. An Aspire Zealous. I don't know if I'm familiar with that one. Let me look at it right quick. Just the regular one or the third one? It looks like it got a 2, a 2S, and a 3. Which one were you looking at? Well, I don't know, Josh. I'm doing my style of RDL with a very, very small drip tip, and to me, it ups the flavor because whatever amount of air will go through a real small drip tip is plenty for me. Oh well. Oh, the Zealous X. I guess I'm seeing a Zealous X. Oh, there it is. Damn, they got a bunch of them. Nautilus Mini, a Nautilus 3 rather, tank. Pull a picture up. Oh, come on, give me a picture. There you go. Yeah. That one's actually looks relatively compact and small enough to maybe fit in your pocket. Might be a good little deal. Might be a good little deal. Well, I'll see when I get mine in, if I ever get it in on my Skyline. We'll see what happens. Oh, you were just gonna get the mod Neil, not the whole little kit with the sub-ohm tank? Back in the day, I had a neat little, in fact, I think I still got one that works, but it's just kind of a pain in the butt. Oh. I very seldom wear out mods, but I wore this one out, and I think I've got a silver one that still uh, works, I believe. It's this little thing here from Smowell, and it only went up to like 50 watts, but it was small, and I mean, fit your hand good. It was small. I mean, it worked fine. The problem was it doesn't have a battery door. You had to uh, basically charge the battery in the mod, and that's probably what eventually killed it. I mean, it's got two little screws down here you undo and take the battery in or out, but it's a pain in the butt just to change the battery. But I wore this little thing out. I mean, but with a little small tank on it. Hell, that back in the day was doing pro tank threes and twos on it, you know. But I wore the damn little thing just flat out. I mean, it was a good little mod. And like I say, I think I still got a solid silver one like it that uh, uh, works. I believe last time I tried it. Yeah, Mr. Intense, I'm not either, except when it comes to these little small, the small devices. And I'm the like that Coco Prime, little square Coco Prime, or that other one. I forget the damn name of it. It looks exactly like that Coco. And I've had those for well over a year. Hell, I've had my uh, Pasitos for hell 2 or 3 years now, and the little battery in them still just chugging along. So but I mean they were just my work vapes. They weren't my set beside my recliner vapes. So they got used 5 days a week. So it was, but it wasn't I wasn't killing them, but uh, and they're still going. Even the very first one I bought is still working. I mean, you can tell it ain't quite as good as it used to be, but it's still chugging along. Yeah, it seems like I've found some things that are hard. The only way to buy them was in a kit, Neil. And a lot of times I didn't want the damn tank, and you were a lot of the places the that I can order from that'll actually deliver to me. A lot of them only give you the option of a kit. They won't sell just the tank or just the mod, But uh, you know, so I've run into that. Of course, I don't know. I don't really have a lot of use for sub-ohm tank. It's just kind of not the way I vape, but you know, if I had to, I could. Oh. Yeah, right now mostly that's everything I got that's sitting beside my recliner is an RTA of some sort. You know, the 980s have a RBA section in them with a Clapton coil, so they're not, they classify as an RTA really once you do that. Still got this one from last week, this Scraper Rise, sitting in here by the computer. And I guess when it gets nasty, I'll probably just put it back on the shelf, clean it up, put it back on the shelf. That's what happens when you get so many. Don't know what to do with them. Oh. Yeah, Mr. Intense. I'm not a fan of them, but that's the only way you get these little ones. And you roll the dice that how long the battery's going to last. Some of them will last a long time. Some of them won't last till water gets hot. I mean, and it's the same way with the 18650s, except you don't have to throw away the whole damn device, or take it apart and start soldering on wires and shit. But because I've got some real old 18650s that are still chugging along, and I've got some newer ones that have already, bit the weenie, and they all get rotated through, so they all get the same use. But some are just better than other ones. I tell you what, though, next time I mix me some juice for my stuff I got sitting beside my recliner, I think I'm gonna bump it up to about an 18. Because I've got 12 now, and that's what's in this. And I went to the 12 when I started doing the RDL deals, because the 24 was just way too much. But now I notice I'm going through a lot of juice, and I'm having to rebuild some of the tanks like every other day, and going through a lot of juice, stopping up the cotton real fast, and all that kind of stuff. So I think next time I mix some, I'm gonna bump it up to 18 and see if that works. Well, I don't use that many, Neil. I'll use, let me think, 1, 2, maybe 4. Because I have one I take out in the garage if I go out there and work, and I have a different one I take to town. But I very seldom do both on the same day, so But I would say 4 to 5 different ones. And I always have at least 3 sitting beside my recliner with different juices in them for, different occasions, you might say. Because to me, not all juice tastes good with coffee. Because I like real strong coffee, and, sometimes it alters the taste of the juice pretty bad. Most of the time, the only thing I can vape with my coffee is the Red Hots, and that's the only one it doesn't change the flavor of. Now, I do got one that's like a vanilla cake. Basically, it's a bunch of vanillas and a bunch of bakeries in the recipe, but it ends up being basically a vanilla cake. Now that I can usually go with that with the coffee, but otherwise it's the Red Hots. Like this flavor here, it's a fruity flavor. It wouldn't work with coffee at all. I mean, it goes good with tea, but cold iced tea, but it doesn't, it doesn't work with the coffee whatsoever. Damn, Adrian, you mean you actually have a device, some stuff you got to rewick twice a day? Yeah, Neil, that was my last. That sounds good. Caramel. I hadn't vaped tobacco in God knows how long, but that does sound good. That was my last vestige of tobacco. Was when I would have my morning coffee. I had to have my tobacco flavor, and I finally weaned myself off of it. I really don't know why, but I did. Tobacco was one of the, believe it or not, one of the easier flavors to mix because it was so strong. You didn't have to use very much at all. And of course, I made mine menthol, but just a little tobacco, a little menthol, and you had your juice. And I mean, it would work in just about any device because the flavor was so strong. I used to have a couple of juices I got up at my local vape store that I really liked. Of course, I had to up the nicotine in them, but I hadn't been to the vape store in God knows how long, probably over a year now. I never did even try that RY4. I should have tried that. Maybe I should try it again. Maybe I don't know. I never did try any of the RY4. I never did any of that NETs you are talking about, naturally extracted. I never tried any of those. I was out of the tobacco flavor realm before they got popular. Now, ain't that something? I thought about that the other day, or this morning actually. Give us a little topic. You remember back when? Do you remember? I forget the damn name. It was, I don't even remember now. It was the name of some particular chemical that gave vanilla custard the butter taste. And they claimed it caused lung damage, da 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 da. And everybody, I mean, all the vapors were up in arms over this stuff that they was putting in the juice. It was actually in the flavoring. And oh my God, it was a big old scandal and shit and everything. All this. Do y'all remember that? It's been a few years ago, and it just strikes me as funny that they got so up in arms over this little pissy amount of particular stuff in some flavoring, and now more than 50% of the vapors are vaping disposables from China, and God knows what's in that juice. I mean, really? I just thought that was kind of hilarious. Yeah, that's the stuff I'm talking about. I forget the name of it. It was a weird ass name, diacetyl or something like that. That's what comes to mind. But it was a butter flavor was what it was, and they would put it in like vanilla custard, and a lot of the custards had it in there to get that butter taste. And oh my God, everybody was up in arms about it. It was going, oh my God. And now they're all vaping goddamn juice from China and disposables that they don't even have a clue what's in. But I remember that. It was a big old drama thing, boy. People were just, falling over themselves and shit. Hell, I probably still got some flavoring in my deep freeze that has that in it. Because I've got some like original vanilla ice cream and some original something else that might actually have some of that in there. I never checked because I didn't give a damn. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if it's tremendously less than a cigarette, I don't care. Oh, yeah, I never gave it a second thought. Didn't care. But my God, there was an uproar. I remember that. But it just strikes me as kind of hilarious that they have this big uproar about that shit, and then now they're vaping goddamn juice from China and disposables, and it's like, really? I don't know. Well, the only person, if I remember correctly, there wasn't but one person that ever even got the shit so they could name it, and because he worked at a damn factory that made this shit or used it every day, all day, and he was, just like showered in the shit. Hell, I had a friend, high school friend, and God bless his soul, he's dead on a doorknob now, but he worked at a company there in Texas that I don't what's the right word, sifted and separated sand and just regular old white sand, but they would filter it, sift it, and then put, if it was this size, they put it over here. If it was this size, they put it over there. They separated it for size because they had different applications. And that fool would never wear a face mask. And I mean, this shit's blowing around in the air, just constantly. You're breathing this sand. And if you ever looked at sand under a magnifying glass, it's just ground up glass. That's basically what it is. And he never would wear a mask, and wasn't too many years he's dead. So, what can I say? Yeah, Adrian, it's hard to believe anything you hear out there nowadays. That really is. I almost don't believe any of it. You know, and I get some hellish arguments with people, and usually it's over uh, health advice, and health issues, and opinions about what you should or shouldn't eat, and this, that, and another. And oh, I got some friends they'll give me that advice, and I'll say, "Now, where'd you get this from?" "Oh, well, the study, the study here." "Okay, show me the study." Who paid for this study? Hmm. Yeah, these people here that are trying to sell you this stuff, that's who paid for this study. You know, so I don't really think I'm gonna, take their shit as facts. I'm sorry. Oh, I know it. There's still people. I encounter them every Saturday when I go to town. I really do. Uh, there was a lady next to me here the other day that, she says, and she's supposedly a damn nurse or of some sort. And she's telling me that vaping is worse than cigarettes. And I said, "Darling, you're vastly been misinformed. You really need to do some independent, research on it and check it out." I said, "Because trust me, And I think she kind of believed me, but I mean, she didn't smoke or vape. So, most of those people you encounter if they never smoked and they never vaped, they're going to tell you it's just as bad as cigarettes. That's just the way their brain is wired. They just default to that opinion, regardless of what the science tells you. Speaking of the little market where I sell my stuff, if you most of y'all were here last week, so you know the story about the name change. Well, sure enough, luckily, of course, I set up right next to one of the gates. That's my spot, and the lady that set up next to me this time was one of the ladies that was against changing the name. There was a few of the vendors that didn't want to change the name and take the word farmers out of it. So anyhow, they ended up not changing the name, of course, because of the marketing expert. So, no harm, no foul. I didn't care. So anyhow, sitting next to the gate, about midway through the day, here comes this elderly lady. She comes up to the gate, and naturally, I'm the first one there. She says, "Is this the farmer's market?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am, it sure is." She looks around. She says, "Well, where the hell's the produce?" And I said, "We got one lady over here that's got a little bit." She says, "Well, this ain't no farmer's market. I'm gonna go complain." I said, thank you very much. You do that." And because I tried to tell them they need to change the name. Well, they sure as hell do. I'm going to write a letter to the paper. Now, what good that does, I don't know. But, some people still think writing letters to a newspaper does something. I don't know. Maybe it does more than whining about it on Facebook. I don't know. But anyhow, that was her approach. So anyhow, she never even came in. She just left. Probably never come back. Don't blame her. Anyhow, I turned to the lady next to me, in the booth next to me. She overheard all of it because, the lady was loud. She was, And I said, "You see what I was talking about?" She says, "Yeah, I got to admit it. You knew what you were talking about. You were right. We should change the name." And I'm going, yeah. I get it. What I wanted to do, I don't think the lady would have stood for it because she was kind of mad. And wasn't going to hang around long enough. I should have my phone ready. And the next one that comes up, I should just whoop it out, start videoing it, video the little, ask the lady where she found out about us, and how displeased she was, and video the whole damn little thing, make a little interview out of it, and send that to the marketing lady. And but that's just me. Rub a little salt in that one. Yeah, Neil, that's what Josh, I tried to tell them because they talked to me because I'm right next to the gate, see, and they talk to me, plus I overhear them, and on a good day, we'll piss off half a dozen people because they come down there with a preset notion of what they're going to find, and it ain't what they're expecting, and they get pissed off, and they probably never come back. And the downhill theory, one pissed off person will tell 10 other people, and it just kind of rolls downhill. But what can I say? This marketing person sitting behind their desk knows more than the people sitting out there actually selling this stuff. So what are you gonna do? Like I said, hey, I'm making plenty, so I'm happy that they can worry about it themselves. They just asked our opinion. I gave them mine, and I thought we were good to go on the deal until the marketing lady spoke up. Yeah, Neil, that's I'm telling you. And I don't know where they get this preconceived market. Unless, and I'm sure, of course, most people out here, especially the ones that move to our area, They're new to the desert. And so they're used to going to these big city markets where there's just lines and lines and lines of produce. Of course, most of that shit at the big markets, it ain't locally grown. They ship that shit in from California. It's just like going to Walmart. It's no different. Now there are a few maybe local farmers here and there, and especially once you get out of the damn desert, you get a lot of them. But we're in the fucking desert. This is what they don't understand. you know, uh, you're just not going to get the same amount of like fresh backyard grown produce in the middle of the damn desert that you're going to get in other parts of the country. That is, I don't know what part of that they don't get, but they don't get it. Oh, it doesn't matter to me, Josh. There's another one right down the road, because that's another thing that they've done uh, in this town is they have too many markets to start with, and they're all on the same day. And there's one right down the road that I can go to. The only good thing about this one is it's free, and they don't charge you nothing. You don't have to have nothing. You don't have to have a tax number, a business license, nothing. And the spot is free. And you can even if they see you're going to keep coming and be dependable to show up every Saturday, they'll delegate you a spot, and you can even kind of choose which spot you want, and then it's yours. So that's the reason I go to this one. But there's another one just right down the road that only charges $10 for a spot. So, that's no big deal. And then there's another one on Sunday that's inside, and they charge like $30 a spot. And that's getting right up to the point where it's sometimes you got to do the math, and, we might skip that one. But I don't go to that one anyhow. I just go to the one on Saturday that's free. And so everything I sell is 100% profit. Yeah, now, Neil, a long time ago, this market, when it was run by some other manager, they had a strict rule that said everything you sold had to be handmade or locally grown within 125 miles of town. So there were no resellers there. In other words, the people that just buy stuff and resell it. And it was all right to have quite a few at that time, people that actually did that. But now they just don't really care. We have a lot of people that just buy and resell stuff and whatnot. Yeah, when I lived in Kentucky and Texas both, I had my own vegetable garden, and but out here it's just it's just a matter of cost prohibitive, and you would have to build. First off, you almost have to make it like Fort Knox. You don't just go out in the backyard and till up some dirt and plant it. Because the second the seed shoots up a sprout, there is a rabbit or a ground squirrel or a pack rat or something that is just sitting there waiting on it. And you basically have to do greenhouses, and you even with a greenhouse, you have to dig a trench around the outside and at least a foot deep and bury wire, okay, so that the rabbits and the ground squirrels won't dig up under it to get into the greenhouse. And so yeah, it ain't just like you go out and till up your backyard and plant something, and that don't work. Now, if you live in town and you got a hellacious fence around, you can do it. But out here in the country, you can forget about it. Unless you want to do a Fort Knox type thing, it just you know, and that just kind of makes the price just skyrocket on your vegetables if you ever get any to grow. Yeah, UK is about the most vape friendly country I think in the world at the moment. But see, that goes to show you now. I actually think the reason for that is because y'all have the system of medicine that y'all have, social medicine or whatever it's called, where you don't really pay anything. It's all the government takes care of everything. And so they realize that, hey, vaping's a good thing. And, if we switch all these people from smoking over to vaping, well, shit, we just save a boatload of money on medical expenses. And, you know, so, if y'all hadn't got caught up in that EU thing, well, I forget what it's called, TPD or whatever. If y'all hadn't ever got caught up in that, shit, you'd probably have the most relaxed vape laws in the whole world at the moment. Oh, I guarantee you. Like I say, y'all got the better end of the deal at the moment. You know, Adrian. The TPD was just slight, tank limit size and nick limit, but I mean they didn't get it down to where it was just not effective anymore. You know, but yeah. Of course, some of us over here like me, we could just, oh, I see this shit coming. Let me pile this shit in my deep freeze. Yeah. So, but yeah, Josh, I converted a lot of people back in the day, many, many years ago. I converted a lot of people from smoking to vaping. And I just don't even, I kind of lost the drive to do that. I just don't even do it anymore. I just let them, because I think the last, you know, half dozen people that I saw smoking and said, hey, maybe you should, try vaping. They just flat looked at me and said, well, that's worse than smoking. Uh, I'm out. Fine. I just don't have the patience anymore to sit there and try to educate them. Yeah, well, 20 milligrams is still quite a bit of nic, and they have those little they can buy those little one shots and or whatever they're called, and up it if they want to up it more than that. But even 20 milligrams is a pretty good little hit. Yeah, short fills, that's what they're called. Well, Adrian, ain't you got to can't you uh, without actually DIYing, can't you buy everything at a vape shop to get any nic level you wanted if you buy enough stuff and mix it together? Can you do that? 'Cause I have no experience with those short fill things. Hmm. Well, see, Josh, I never thought of going that way. I never thought of buying a 20 milligram base and trying to dilute it down to 6. I was always thinking the other direction. You had to buy that's what I have to do, and, you know, that's the reason I was thinking of that. 'Cause you buy the 6 milligram base and then bump it up to, 20 milligrams. I never thought about going the opposite direction. Yeah, I've been mixing mine at 12 lately, and it's all right, but I seem to be going through a little more juice than I'd like to. Yeah. So I think the next batch I mix, I'll bump it up to 18, see what that does. Because I'm not really a chain vapor, and I don't really want to be. And I like to take about 2 hits. If I'm watching TV or doing something, even working out in the garage, I like to take about 2 hits and then set it down for 20, 30 minutes. That's just the way I prefer to do it. Oh, hell, I was going through a hell of a lot more than 5 mils a week. Guarantee you, hell, I was having to mix. No, I was mixing about probably, I'm probably going through 60 mils a week, I'd say. Or maybe a little longer than a week, but yeah, I was mixing 3 bottles fairly often, a whole lot more often. I noticed it was a whole lot more often than I used to. Plus, I was having to change my cotton out a whole lot more often than I used to. And I was just vaping more. Just 12 wasn't, it was. I mean, I didn't have no desire to go get no cigarette or nothing, but it just I was having to vape more of it to get the same satisfaction level. I did notice that. That's why I'm gonna bump it back up to 18. But 24 was just a little bit too much for the RDL. Because then I had to really pay attention, or I'd get too much. And if I wasn't paying attention, well, it's not a matter of price. It's just a matter of preference. Would be the best way I could describe it. Hell, the last time I figured out juice, had to actually pay for some juice. It was almost negligible. I mean, was I bought in bulk so long ago, and it's, you know, I bought all my nicotine in 100 milligram deals just so if I accidentally screwed up something, it wasn't too terribly bad. Uh, you know, 'Cause when you start dealing with 250 and 500, you really have to pay close attention to what the hell you're doing when you're mixing. Plus, if you're just mixing a real small amount, like if I'm just playing with a flavor and say I'm only mixing 10 or 15 mils, well, hell, you know, it's like, it's like Josh says, one drop and you're done. Well, it's a whole lot easier to misstep when it's that strong. Plus, I've like knocked the lid off a bottle or something and get the shit all over my leg, and I had to go wash it off. And yeah, I didn't get sick, but it did kind of lightly burn. You know, it didn't burn my skin; it just burnt. Where it was until I washed it off real good, and then it burnt for just a little while. You could feel a little burn coming from it. But I didn't get sick or anything. It was, and it didn't turn well. It kind of maybe turned a hair red, but it didn't last very long, and then it was gone and didn't leave any kind of lasting effects or anything. It was just, I was glad it was only 100. Oh, I know. It's a child deal, and there are people that are, you know, uh, I'm sure there were kids that would have probably got poisoned from stuff like that. Nowadays, especially. I mean, they eat fucking Tide Pods. I mean, come on, really, really. The only thing that I can remember my generation doing, and that was the ones that were a little off in the head. They would, if some paint was peeling off the wall, they'd eat the damn paint. That's the only thing I can remember. Didn't nobody go in there and get a handful of damn Tide detergent and go to eating on the shit, or drink the damn Dawn dishwashing liquid or anything like that. I mean, come on. Yeah, that's all you got to do, Josh. Just treat it like a bad household chemical. Because hell, bleach, ammonia. You start drinking that shit, it'll kill you. You gotta just treat it like that. Window lickers. Yeah, we got to take all the lead out of the paint because these little rugrats are eating this shit off the wall. you know, you walk in the room You see a kid eating paint paint chips off the windowsill. You know, it's real easy. You just slide your belt off, cross the ass a few times, problem's cured. I guarantee you, problem's cured. Hell, I still remember the first time I tried chewing tobacco. Uh, there was some ranch hands on the farm next to us there that, they all chewed. And hell, I was like, I don't know, first, second grade, whatever age you are at that time. And, so I asked one of them, could I have some? He said, sure, here you go. He gave me some, it was beech nut chewing tobacco is what it was. I got me some of that shit, boy. I was chewing on it and spitting, and I got sicker than a damn dog. And I never even got the buzz from it. I just instantly got sick. And I'm going, what the hell do these people chew this stuff? And, from that day till I was probably almost 18 or at least 16, I never messed with it again, never messed with it, smoking, dipping, or any of it. I learned that lesson a little different way, Josh. I didn't have to stick a knife or a fork in an outlet. I stuck mine in my finger in a light socket with the bulb was gone. Old timey screw in bulb. Well, if the bulb was gone, the switch was still on, and I don't even know if I was curious. I just dug my finger and it shocked the shit out of me. I learned that lesson. I didn't mess with it no more. Yeah, I used to dip back in the day. I dipped and smoked because when I was working, a cigarette was just I'd have to stop and smoke a cigarette, basically, and that was just too much hassle. So I would just, put a dip in my mouth and roll on, and that way I didn't have to stop uh, to go outside and smoke, or just to stop and smoke. Or back in even in the day when you could work with a cigarette hanging out of your mouth, the damn smoke would always go in your eye, and your eye would start burning and shit, and you rub your eye and it'd burn worse. Yeah, it was just inconvenient. So, a dip was just a hell of a lot more convenient. Oh hell, Adrian. That's still how I test my 9 volts to see if they got a charge in them. I stick them to my tongue, you know. Yeah. And I don't just. I mean, I'll stick it to it and judge how much charge is left in the battery. Oh. Yeah, Neil, I got hit by 3-phase one time, and it's a whole different world than plain old outlet juice. And luckily, the wire just brushed the back of my hand, and I was up on 2 or 3 steps up on a ladder. It just barely brushed the back of my hand, and it knocked me off the ladder, down to the floor. And it was a whole different world than just getting, shocked by a house outlet. Of course, let's see. I think it's Adrian and somebody else in here or in the UK. I think all their household stuff is 220. Over here, 99% of the stuff in the house is 110. so it's not near as bad. But I think most of y'all's is 220 or 240. You call it. We call it 220 over here, but it's the same thing. It's 240. It's really 240, but for some reason, most people like me call it 220. I don't know. I think y'all's is a little more dangerous than ours. Yeah, a lot of times the welder gives you a little different sharp depending on what you got the welder set on. If you got it set to AC or DC, it's just a different feeling. Yeah, you got lucky, Adrian, from where you were because our shit over here don't trip if you simply uh, get shocked. Well, I say it don't. The these new plugs they make us put in bathrooms. I think they do. If you get hit, if it's just you causing the short, your body causing the short, it'll flip the switch. But otherwise, most of the stuff, like a normal wall socket, put it that way, the breaker won't throw just because you're the one causing the short. You basically need some wires or some metal or something, and it'll trip. But I've never seen one trip just from a person getting shocked, except the little safety outlets they make you put in bathrooms now, or even you can buy a breaker with that capability, but most of the houses don't have that. Some of the newer ones have to, but the old ones like mine, hell, I didn't even put them in my bathroom. I simply, just use common sense. You know, don't throw the hairdryer in the bathtub. Yeah, if it had been like an air compressor or something like that over here, no, you'd had to pull yourself away, jump, or somebody knock you away or something like that. If you'd have been dead waiting on one of our breakers to throw in that situation. Still rocking my little Vandy Vape thing since I got the 21700 batteries. Of course, I got the little disposable coil thing in it. You know what I'm saying? Anybody got any stuff they're looking at or new stuff they're interested in? far as vape gear. Like I say, I watched the deal on that new Squape, but all right, Josh, we'll see you later, buddy. Thanks for stopping by. We're not going to be in here too much longer, anyhow. We done rambled on for about an hour now. You know, I've catch a few. Um, Most of the time I watch the repeats, but the other night I was watching Demi and Phil live, and then sometimes I watch the True Vapor Show with Mike and ST and Fagan. I watch it live. Uh, I have watched. Well, I don't know that I watched Jay Hayes live, but I'd play it while I was working in the garage because he usually does his lives in the morning a lot of times, and I would just let it play and listen. But 9 times out of 10, when I watch a live, uh, I do it on my TV, and so the chat. I mean, I can't even. Most of the time, I can't see the chat at all unless they put it on their screen, like Phil and Demi had the other night. In other words, it's I don't have a pop-out window on my TV, and plus, so and I mean, chatting on a TV is just might as well just be rubbing two sticks together. But that's the reason you very seldom see me in the chat. But I do watch quite a few of them live, and the ones I don't, of course, I'll watch them on the replay if I'm interested in it. Plus it lets me scoot through them and pretty quick. And it always lets me. The only good thing about the replay in my book is I don't have to watch the damn buffets. I can fast forward through that because I don't know. I just don't have the patience for that. And it's almost the same thing every week. I mean, I'm vaping I got the same shit in here that I had last week. So if I got something new, I might show you. But otherwise, I mean, we ain't gonna do no damn. And if I ever had a live show, that I wouldn't do no buffet. Yeah, I could do that, Adrian. I have done that before, back when my internet connection was really bad because the TV is on the house internet and my phone was always faster and better. And there's been times it was so bad here in the past that I would, if I was in the middle of watching something, either on YouTube or Amazon or something like that, I would cast it from my phone to my TV so that it wouldn't get interrupted as bad. But yeah, I could pull it up and cast it. Of course, I mean, I'm old and blind. Even if I had it up on the screen, I'm not too sure I could read that all the way across the living room. Well, of course, I guess I could watch the chat on the phone and look at the other deal on the screen. I never was much really into the chat, and I know that seems crazy. I'm sitting here doing a live, but and I do reviews and all that, but I never have gotten into the chat. Now, is that the name of the show? God knows what time that would be here. Let me write that down. On Saturdays. Oh, well, I could watch the replay. Depends on what time that works out to be. Saturdays is the day I go up to the market. So depends on what time that works out to be. Adrian, there was a guy. There was many years ago. You might remember him. I think his handle was Blackadder, like the Blackadder comedy. Now I'm thinking he was from the UK. He was like one of the very first people that had a talk thing going on the internet back before there was YouTube Live or any of that. Yeah, Lewis, I watch Jay Hayes occasionally. Jay don't like me, but I do watch him occasionally. He don't like me because I do clones, but I could care less if Jay Hayes likes me or not. You see, this guy Savage's show was on today, or it comes on the live goes on Saturday or today. It's 12:30. I see what you're saying. I'm confused. I'm old. Give me a second. Now I'm old. Getting a little confused. I understand now what you're saying. It was 12, so it'd be 12:30 my time. And I'll have to watch the replay on that. Unless I would still be uptown selling stuff. Oh, where is it? Let's see, is Neil. Neil asked if I would show some of the rings that I make. So I brought some of them out today. I'm going to show you a quick. Now, the first few are going to be inlay rings. Let me get them up here by the deal. You see that? They'll focus halfway. That is it's turquoise. And it's real turquoise inlay. And I inlay it with super glue. Let me see. Where's my little thing? Is this it? Nope. Oh, give me a minute. I don't know what I did then. Get out of that. The little thing died. Oh, well. Anyhow, that's an inlay, a turquoise inlay. And I also do real wood inlays. There's one that's real wood inlaid into that one. And I do coin rings. They're the most popular seller. Get up here. So it ain't going to focus, I don't think. Anyhow, this one was made out of a 50-cent piece, 50-cent coin, and a newer one, not an old one, because the people can't afford the old ones. And let's see. Get one that's got some color on it. This one was made out of a dollar coin, an old Eisenhower, just an Eisenhower dollar. I can't see the year model. There's not enough light in here. Probably the 70s or 80s. But anyhow, and it's a hell of a ring too. I mean, that's a hunk of metal. You know, I have one that's an 1886 Morgan silver dollar that's 90% silver. That's my personal ring, and it's as big as this one. You know, and yeah, it's heavy as hell. Now this one, the way I got the gold brass color is it's powder coated. Powder coat the more expensive ones. Of course, they're not all that big. This one's band's not quite as wide. It's a 50-cent piece one. And I do some out of quarters too. I make them out of quarters and 50-cent pieces and dollars. And they're all new. They're not, I don't do any of the old stuff because it makes them too expensive for most people to buy. I don't know what you mean by one punch. Oh, you talking about the anime one punch guy? Or are you talking about the way I made the ring? No, I don't sell those online. I have no deal to sell them online. First thing you do, Adrian, is you take a hole. I use a hole punch. It's a little thing that you put it in a press, and you basically punch a hole. It's like a stamp, almost kind of metal stamp, if you know what I'm talking about. But you basically punch a knockout out of the center, whatever size you want, because the center, depending on how big around the hole is you punch, that determines the band width, the width of the band, what it's going to end up being. But basically, you start by either, and some people actually drill holes, but it's a whole lot more precise and easier to punch it. Once you get the hole in the center, then you put it in a die, and you basically the only tool you use really is a press. And I've just got an old mechanical press, 2-ton arbor press that I use, but some people have hydraulic ones. But then you'll put it in a die that's coned in the middle like this, and you set the ring up on top, and then you just press. You put another cone in the top of the ring, and you press it, and it just expands the inside edge out and makes it be the outside edge. And you're basically just kind of folding the coin out like that. It's the best way I can describe it. There's videos on YouTube. That's how I learned how to do it. That and some practice, you know. Now you don't melt them. You do have to anneal them ever so often, because the metal will get hard because you're working it and you're moving it. And when it stiffens up, then you heat it up and to soften it up again. But you never actually melt it. You just get it. And the regular coins, our American coins, the regular ones called clad coins, they're a mixture of copper and nickel. You can heat them to the point of getting them red hot, which is about where you want it, and then just let it cool off. And that softens it up again. And I usually have to do one 2 to 3 times during the process, because once you move it so much, it'll harden up again. And then if you try to move it anymore, it'll crack or break. So I usually do it about 3 times during the whole ring making process, you know. And if you're doing silver, it's the same process. You just can't heat it as hot as you can on what's called a clad coin. You know, if it's either 40 or 90% silver, you just barely heat it. Otherwise, it'll ruin it. It'll bubble up on the surface, ruins the surface, and there ain't nothing you can do about it once it does that. You know, you just ruin a silver coin. So you have to be real careful when you're doing the silver ones. But I do all mine. All mine are reasonably priced. The ones I showed you today, they're in an expensive box, and they go from $20 to $30. But those, like I say, all except for the inlay ones, all those other ones have been powder coated. That's the reason they're a little bit higher. But the regular clad coins I make out of quarters and 50-cent pieces, I sell those, the quarter ones, for $5, and I sell the 50-cent ones for $10. So, people will come by and hell, they don't mind spending $5 on their kid for a neat little novelty ring, So, I sell the hell out of them. It costs me a quarter. Sell it for $5. Well, I don't know if you'd call it compression. The people that are in the know call it folding, but you do compress it. Sometimes you compress some of them because if you, depending on the size you're going for, you're either expanding it or compressing it. So that is kind of later after you get your shape that you want, after you get the folded out. Then if you're going for a real small ring, then you have to you put it in a different die and you press it all the way through it, and it has a different angle on it. I mean, it's angled like this on the inside, but you press the ring all the way through, and then when it comes out the bottom, it's been compressed to whatever size it'll be on that particular die. So you do compress some of them if you're going for a lot smaller, and you're limited to the sizes, depending on the coin. That's why all the dollar ones, they're for large sizes, because you can only compress something so small, and it just gets to where it just doesn't work. And and there's like the quarter ones, I can only expand them up to a particular size. I can't go much. I think the best I ever did was maybe a 13 ring size on a quarter, and that was pressing my luck, because if I did 10, probably 2 or 3 of them were going to fail halfway through. They were going to just split, because they couldn't. You can only go so far. But that's why you bump up to a 50-cent piece, which is bigger to start with, and it's more metal, so it doesn't have to go out as far. Oh, well, hello, Rico, 975. Glad you stopped in today. We're right at the end of our little live show, but thanks for stopping in anyhow. Oh, there was one deal I wanted to add on this. I wish I should have done this at the start. Hold on just a second. Let me see if I can get it up. Oh. Okay. One of my subscribers, I assume, or somebody had watched one of the lives, and he made a comment, and for some reason YouTube will not let me read that comment, and I have checked every setting, every filter, everything, and it won't let me read the whole comment. Anyhow, his name was Roger White. So Roger, I saw your deal, and I think you had a question at the end. So it's not that I didn't reply. It's just that for some reason YouTube will not let me read the whole comment. So if you're still curious about something, go to one of my other regular videos and not a live, and post a comment, and I'll see it and answer it for you if I can. May not can. I don't have the answer to everything. I saw a shirt I wanted to buy here a while back. It says on the, it's a nice looking shirt, and it says, "I'm old and I know things." No, I'm not. I didn't put them up on Rumble. I didn't really see a need to. Do you think I should put these up on Rumble? Rumble's got their own live thing, but I mean, I've got almost no subscribers per se on Rumble. So I didn't really see any use of doing an actual live on Rumble. You think I should post these up there? Yeah, that's kind of, I just didn't think I needed to. Hmm. No, I really don't. I didn't put my other stuff up there for safekeeping, really. I just put it up there because it would let me do the review the way I wanted to do a review was the only reason. And not even all my reviews are on Rumble. Well, there's no difference in them. I'll put it that way. I can, because one of the little clones that doesn't come in a box, the only thing different from the YouTube review and the Rumble review is in the Rumble review, I can actually put the link to the product in the description. And that's the only difference on those. Now, some of them that come in a nice box that's got URLs to hell on it, the video will be a little different because I can actually show all that on Rumble. So the video will be a little bit different. Plus, if the video is different, I don't know how much the video has to be different, but they hadn't said anything to me yet because, when you post stuff on Rumble, you get the choice of how exclusive you want it to be, or whether it's exclusive to Rumble or exclusive to Rumble, not counting YouTube, or, you got lots of different choices. And if they ever advertise on it, the one that is exclusive to Rumble pays the best. So I tell them the one that is actually a little different from YouTube, it's not the exact same video. I tell them it's Rumble exclusive and, see what they'll do. They haven't said anything yet, so I don't know. Yeah, Lewis, Rumble's the deal the people created to put stuff mostly, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, but mostly right-wing stuff and Republican stuff. You can put anything you want up there, and if it's legal, and not, just offensive. But they don't censor you like YouTube does. You can put URLs, like on vaping stuff. You can put URLs, all kinds of stuff. You can show it on the deal. You can put it in the description, and all that kind of stuff. And I think they actually monetize everything. If you tell them to monetize it, they're not restrictive like YouTube is. But yeah, it's they're just they're still young, trying to get going on the company and whatnot. So it's like YouTube, but it ain't near as big as YouTube. And that's a lot of people that I told a lot of the vape reviewers back when YouTube was kicking their ass to just put your shit on Rumble. But it would take I don't know, act of God to get all your subscribers to start watching you on Rumble instead of on YouTube. Well, I'll tell you what, it's been a while since I've actually put anything on Rumble. Shit. I think my channel name is still the same though. Your Vaping Dollar. Just go to Rumble, and it's like YouTube to a degree. I think you have to create you a little account, so you can sign in like Google does and whatnot. I think I'm not totally sure on that, but Yeah, just go there first and then search for Your Vaping Dollar or my name, but probably Your Vaping Dollar might come up quicker on Rumble than my name will. And you'll see my channel. I mean, I've got a channel over there just like this one. But like I say, the clone videos, the only difference in those, because they don't have boxes per se, they come in those little plastic tubes. The only difference in the videos on the clones is that the link to the actual clone from Fast Tech will be in the description. That's the only difference in those videos. And instead of giving likes, you give rumbles. It's the same thing as a like over here. But you click on a little deal to give a rumble instead of a like. But I've actually, they claim, I hadn't looked lately, but here the other day I looked and they claimed I had like $4 and something in the account, that I had gotten paid for ads. So, I hadn't looked in a while, but I wasn't expecting anything per se, because I don't have that many views over there at all. And I don't have hardly any subscribers, but a lot of people don't even know about it. And, but it's where all the right wing Republican people go to put their stuff, their videos and whatnot that YouTube won't allow. That's basically the majority of what's over there. But they have a lot of stuff just like YouTube, a lot of different stuff. So, it's just hard to compete because YouTube is so big. It's just hard to compete against something like that. And I understand that. What's this? Oh, no, that's nothing. Close that out. Well, guys, I think we're going to get out of here. We've rambled on now for an hour and a half. And maybe, knock on wood, that maybe by next week I'll have gotten some product in, and we can do a real video again, some real videos. All right, guys. Well, thank everybody for coming. We'll probably try to do it again next week. So till then, we'll see you later.